Stuntman Lewis once again, here with the bestie, and we're talking episode number 4 of the Howling Mood podcast. But we have special guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kush and we have DJ along with us. And the topic at hand, at first, we're going to talk about some Dead by Daylight, our ideas of killers and ideas of actual differences that they can do with the game. They make the game a little bit better. We're also going to talk about new games coming out here in the distant or near future. So Kush, DJ, Bestie, how are you all doing?
I'm good.
Doing fine.
DJ's doing well, DJ?
DJ, you there?
DJ is here, folks. I think he went AFK for us a minute. But anyway, we're talking Dead by Daylight. And at first, I got to tell you, when the game came out, I hated it. I didn't think the game was good. And of course, Bestie, you're like, you need to try this game. You need to try this game. You need to try this game. And I got to admit, the game has grown on me as a survivor. But I've tried a killer. And I think a killer can be actually hard. Because I don't like the first person, so I have trouble with the first person. I was actually playing it today and actually got 2 out of 4 kills with Leatherface. But I know that you all play as the killer, and you all like the first person. You have no problems with the first person, but I do have problems with the first person. I cannot stand the first person. So
it would seem like the element of knowing where you are is your biggest problem. Like how you're third person, so you know where you are adjacent in the world, like to everything else, so you can see more in the world, right? But you know where you're at. As in first person, you can't tell, like the depth, how far away, like in the world itself. So it's a little bit harder to remember the map in first person, right? A little bit easier, I noticed. Like, kind of where you're going as a survivor. It looks like you just walk around from the red aura of the generator to another generator as the killer, because you don't know. You're
right.
just so lost, because your situational awareness seems a little off in that aspect,
Right.
The more you play the maps, as a survivor, you'll understand them as a killer. But that's the thing, like, it's at both sides. Like, the more you play survivor, when you do play killer, and if you do become a better survivor, you'll understand the killer has to do this. And as a survivor, that's what you would try to do. So as a killer, you're going to try to have to play against that, Oh, well, when I was a survivor, I tried to keep going around and drop pallets on them or go through vaults. And then you as a killer are going to think, how can I stop them? Or how can I end the chase quicker,
Right.
But like you said, you were never a big first-person guy to begin with. So that's just you got to practice more with the first person,
Right, yeah.
I noticed you are a much better third person. You play third person games and you do well. It was first person, not you. Third person, that's you.
Right. Right. So, I know you guys play the killer.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite killers? Out of all the ones that we've seen so far, including the newest one, which is the Spirit, which I'm sure you guys haven't played with yet.
No, I do not.
I have not played with her yet, but I hear she's awesome.
Yeah, I actually...
But I like Freddy.
She's kind of like the nurse, it seems like, but she's a little bit easier in the way. Like, nurse, you got to know where you blink, right? And then you're fatigued. With the phase walk, it's kind of like that. But if they're running, you follow the scratch marks and you kind of have to judge, right? So the more you play, it seems like, because I was watching Lewis play, like you were saying, Lewis, you were playing earlier, but you were Leatherface. But when you went over to Survivor, I saw you playing against her, the Spirit, and she was trying to psych you out, I noticed at certain points. Like, she would try to phase shift for like 2 seconds, and because you'd see her stand still, but then you'd see her still chasing you. So she was trying to, I think, she was trying to get you to walk back towards her, like, oh, she phase shift, I can quickly run that way, and then she would like pop out of it and get you, but you were like, nah, I'm just gonna keep trying to run away.
Right.
And she would come out of it, but that's the thing, you have to play with the Spirit. So it's not like she's overpowered, but it's a mind game, it seems like, which is nice. It doesn't seem like she's overpowered, but it seems like there's a mind game and you got to be pretty decent at it. You can't be just any schmo picking up the spirit, because you
Yeah.
can phase shift or phase walk, and you know ain't got scratch marks to follow, you know, or if you judge wrong, you know.
Right.
It could be, you know, a little bit of waste, you know. It could be, you know, like with the nurse, you know, like you could blink, and then if you overshoot it, or they quickly notice you blink and quickly run the other way, then it's like, well, now that's a couple extra seconds they get, because then you're standing there, you get hit with your fatigue, and then you have to keep going as your nurse. You can't right after because of the blink fatigue. So it's kind of like that, which I like, but it seems like it's a little bit easier and less penalizing in that way of when you misjudge and don't predict correctly, you don't get punished as badly because there's no fatigue in a way, you know? You just come back to the normal world and you can keep doing your thing, it seems like. There's no, oh, I stand still and I'm stunned after I come out. So it's a little bit easier on that. But she does seem all around like pretty good though. If you know, if you're good at mind games, it seems like you could be good with her.
Right. Yeah,
She
and like I
seems
said,
pretty
I have
promising.
yet to try. I have yet to try all the killers, but I'm really good with Leatherface. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, we've seen, or I've seen JJ number 13 channel Untitled number 13 channel here on YouTube, and JJ, or formerly known as Collie Dolly. But I've seen him play a lot with different killers, and a lot of aspects that he has is you are only good that if you have a survive with friends, everybody's working together as a team. They're working together with teamwork, going out fixing gens and helping one another. So it's hard as the killer.
Being altruistic, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard as a killer to be able
like
to
the
do
game's
that.
supposed to be played.
Right. So, but I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to start doing a lot more trials as a killer, and just actually see what happens, and try, like like you said earlier, get used to the first person, and it'd be a lot different for me.
Try to get used to it and just like get aware, because it seems like you didn't know, like I was saying earlier, when they kept goofing up in the basement and you didn't know what that was, and you didn't know there was a basement. I explained to you, there's a chance that it could be in that little hut, because if you ever notice when you are a survivor or a killer, there's always usually a hut no matter what map it is, except that like if it's indoors, obviously, like the meat packing plant, I think it is, right?
Right.
You can't put a hut in there. But there's a basement, you know, there's usually a basement on every map. It's just different places, like how Jason's shack is on Friday, you know. The map changes every time, right? It's never exactly the same, but some things are exactly the same. Like usually the main house is always where the main house is usually every time, right? No
Right.
matter if it's a big or small version of the map, no matter what the layout of the map itself is, because it does change, you know, even if there's like, what is it, 3 or 4 versions of a large and 2 or 3 versions of a small.
Right.
So there's variety, and is like that in Dead by Daylight, but certain things stay the same. Like if you're playing on like an outside map, like the Macmillan Estate, or like the Huntress's mapper, you know. I think Macmillan is Trapper, you know, but like an outdoor woodsy map, there's going to be a shack, and there's a chance that the basement can spawn there. But you didn't know that because you don't play enough of the killer to understand like what you as a killer have at your disposal, right? Like the basement, in my opinion, if you can throw somebody in the basement, that's a fucking double thumbs up, man. Because then once they get off the hook, they gotta run up the stairs, and you know you have that advantage of they're coming up the stairs. So if you're not too far away, you can like walk back. And I catch them in my videos. If you watch them, sometimes I catch them running up the stairs, or I see the scratch marks from them running. That's still the advantage I have, though, as opposed to if they're outside.
Right.
You know, there's advantages and disadvantages. You gotta know, like. Still, as a survivor, I'm a little bit confused because certain areas will always have pallets, but it changes. So, you know, there'll be times where I'm like, oh man, I really need a pallet, and I just have to keep playing. And, you know, I figure some of these maps out. So if I need a pallet, I know where to run. oh my God, the killer's gonna catch me, man. He's on me. I need to drop a pallet on him or vault a window. But that's where the one perk in the new, not new, but somewhat new, Kate Denson came in with the Come Dance With Me and all that, which I thought were really good for newcomers like DJ, which he uses Kate Denson. She's good because he likes to know where the vaults are and the pallets, and that does help.
Right.
So knowing those elements, and I'm pretty sure the more DJ plays, and even now Star, you play with Kate Denson now. You like her perks, right?
I do.
You'd like to Come Dance With Me and all that, because it's really nice when you're being chased, knowing where to go to get a pallet, right? Or get a vault, because then you know, as long as you keep looking at him and he doesn't try to cut you off and he stays behind you and you do the timing right, you could drop that pallet on him, get the stun, and you can get away, and then he's got to break it or walk around. That's still giving you extra time, though. But knowing is half the battle, like they say. Knowing is half the battle. And you don't know much, because you don't play too much Dead by Daylight. But you're getting the Survivor, like you said, Lewis. It's very nice.
Right, yeah, exactly. So,
because you're like, I was watching you, and I went to go do the laundry, and I come back, I'm like, man, that sucker's got 2 generators left, man. High five, Lewis, high five, man. And then you had the 1 generator left, and the David hid, and there was the Wraith, and I was like, oh, man, like I said, almost had it. Almost had it. Because there was only 1 gen left. You're getting better. The more you play, the more you understand. Like Friday, nobody was amazing when we first started playing, but the more we played, now look at us. We know we can sit there, like, depending, even DJ is a Tiffany, who's not that bad at repair. We can all repair things and not really mess up. We'll mess up from time to time, every so often, we might, but we can do it without goofing up, repairing and, and killing Jason. Even now, that's what we're getting better at even now. Before, we didn't really kill Jason a lot, but playing with Bullet and everything now, we oh it's a random, oh it's one of us, it doesn't matter. We know that there's going to be a good chance that you're going to go for the sweater and you're going to try to kill us as Jason.
Right. Yeah.
So even now we're getting better in that aspect,
Right.
So like the more we play that Dead by Daylight, the better we'll get. The more you play, the more you'll know where pallets are. And then as a killer, that's also going to come in handy, because if you're chasing somebody as a killer and oh, they're running to a pallet. And the thing is, I noticed too, you don't always look behind you, which is a bad thing, because it's not a bad thing all the time, because sometimes you run into things, right? But sometimes you do want to look behind you to see where that killer is, because there's been many a times I've done it, to where I'm chasing somebody and they'll take like a long loop, and then I can take like if they go right and then try to go around, and I go left and I'll cut them off and I get there much quicker, and I'm not chasing them, because if I was chasing them I would still be behind them taking longer. I cut them off, but I know what they were going to do because I was a survivor. I was thinking the same thing if I was a survivor, right?
Right.
But I'm a killer, so I know that what they're trying to do. Like when you said, oh yeah, they were gen rushing and shit, you knew what they were doing. You knew they were playing with friends. You're like, yeah, that Meg, they body blocked.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I can tell you when they body block is smack them. When they get in your way, smack them. Because once they start limping, they're not going to want to take a second hit and go into dying for their friend. I don't know how good of friends, like, we're really good friends, but I'm not going to put myself in a dying state just to get you off the hook, because what's going to happen? Let's say you down them, right? And the Meg still gets off your back. You could still pick up whoever you just downed and throw them on the hook instead. Oh, well, you said there was 2 guys, right? We'll say that Jake tried the body block, right? Well, you can smack him twice and down him, and they escape. Well, remember, they're limping, all right? So they have to heal themselves to come back, because they're not going to come back and get downed in the dying state again, because then that's not enough time to wiggle free. So you can throw them on the hook, pick their friend up, throw them on the hook too, It's things like that.
Right. Right,
but
yeah.
see, like, you don't play enough killer. You're not good with the first-person awareness, and I'm okay with it, but there's sometimes I get confused, like the one map with the cornfields, what really fucks with me, but I'm pretty sure that's a good majority of people, because that corn confuses me, man. Whoo-wee. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is, I'll give you a hint. If you're ever playing against me, just run through the corner, man. And I have to follow the scratch marks, because I'm confused.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better at it, because I'm trying to notice, I don't look at the scratch marks all the time. Sometimes I look at the top of the stalks of corn, and when they move, I'm like, oh, they're moving that way,
Yeah.
because I could see the corn moving still, or even when I'm a survivor, right? And I'm on generators. In my videos, you'll see me just keep looking around because I'm looking for the killer. Even though I can't hear him, if I can see him coming from far enough away, that's just knowing is half the battle. So if it looks like he's making a straight beeline to my generator and he's still like 50, 60 meters away, and I'm Nia usually. That's like my AJ, Nia, I love her. I only play other people for the rituals, for the blood points, but I love her urban evasion, so I can sit there, get off the gen, and just quietly but quickly crouch away really quickly, because urban evasion, if you ever see me, Lewis, I crouch really fast because that's
Yeah.
one of my perks. And if I can crouch away and hide, and in my experience as a killer, if I don't see scratch marks, I'm not really going to stick around too long. Like, I might look around for like maybe 40 seconds, if that, and then go, because I don't see scratch marks. So I'm like, either they knew I was coming and they hid, and they probably hid well. They're not going to be behind a tree next to the generator. They're going to be somewhere decent. And, we all do it. Like, we keep moving around, things crouching. So as I'm moving, they're moving. I'm not going to stick around, because in the time it takes me to goof around camping that generator, they're fixing the other ones,
Right.
But
Right.
the more you play, the more you get experience, and So, I'm like, oh, generator's about halfway done. Let me just kick it and check on these other ones. If I come back and I remember that one was halfway done last time, it's almost complete, or 3/4 or whatever, I'm like, somebody's working on it. I know they're around here, but then I'll kick it again and come back, and maybe sometimes I catch them too, like I catch them.
Right. So
sometimes it happens.
So let's talk about some possible new killers. What are some possible new killers? I was thinking more or less the Candyman. I mean, he does have a hook on his hand, and it'd be a lot easier to slap a hook on him and then go take him to a hook. I mean, I think the Candyman would be a good.
You gotta think the pig's already got the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, true. But still, though, I mean, I mean, some people are saying Ghostface.
We got to think trademark and stuff like that. So if that's the first biggest issue, because these are licensed killers, so you have to get the actual right to obtain them. But I could see where you're coming from, Lewis. They could be possibilities. I don't see them, but they could be.
Right. I mean,
I
Jeepers Creepers. I've heard somebody say Jeepers Creepers is a good one.
That's not bad either, Jeepers Creepers. But how would you do him, right?
Right. Maybe like a Frankenstein or a Dracula or.
Because like the movies, he could kind of fly.
Right.
So I mean,
if they did a vampire, I could see how that could work. I mean, to take down his victims, all he would have to do is just when he grabbed them,
flash
it'd be
him
like
with the claws, yeah. And then for
something.
maybe a Mori, he can do the neck bite, for like a Mori.
Right.
Bite your neck, suck your blood out, and like rip your neck off or something. I could see it. Dracula would be nice.
Right,
I
Dracula, a Frankenstein, a Wolfman. Maybe a mummy. I mean,
I could see a Wolfman. Yeah.
I could see a mummy.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
Because the mummy is known to be kind of slow in a way,
Right. I mean,
even if the mummy is slow, you gotta think there's a lot of different things that the mummy could do. Like maybe they can make it to where, like, its grab is like longer. Like it could use some of its mummy thing, can grab somebody from a long distance or something.
Right.
Possibilities, yeah. These are possibilities.
I mean, or mummies have certain hexes or something anyways.
Right.
Or like they could bring out spiders.
That's not a bad idea.
Something.
I
You
mean,
know.
look at the hag. The hag is like, I don't know. The hag looks like a mummy, like a zombie mummy thing to me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, when she puts those traps down, and you don't know when you go to get somebody off the hook, and they spring, and she's
Scares the bejeebus out of you, don't it?
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I get scared, but yeah, I mean, like I said,
Right.
Dead by Daylight. When I first, like I said, Bessie, you're
Yeah, I
like,
wasn't too fond of it
yeah,
because my biggest issue, and it still is a problem, but I'm over it now. I just laugh and I'm like, I understand it because it's like in Friday when you got somebody who's just going to slash. It's like they're doing it because they're not good and they don't want to take the chance to they just want to be a bad, hazardous, very mean person to do that to you.
right,
As to, just keep slashing everybody because pocket knives and everything like that. It's like just try to be a little bit fun about it, like that, like. But what I'm trying to say is my biggest issue, and it still is an issue. It's not big anymore, but face
See.
camping, and we still have it, PC, Xbox, and it's annoying though because it was happening to you in the stream when the guy was trapper. He, like you said, we got a babysitter, we got a camper. Like I said, he's having a weenie roast, Lewis. They just
yeah,
throw you on the hook and they stare at you for 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. And that's not enjoyable. That's not fun. But the most thing that's the worst is when you have teammates that aren't fixing gens. Like I don't care, right, when I'm playing Friday and Jason's chasing me and you're fixing the car or calling the cops because I know I'm helping. But like when I'm on the hook and he's staring at me and you're fixing generators, it's the same principle. But when you're playing with randoms, it's like Friday again. You're not playing with friends, you're playing with randoms, so they might not be fixing anything. They might be goofing around, waiting for you to do everything, and you're being
yeah,
chased.
right,
So if Dead by Daylight, if the killer's chasing me, or in this case I'm on the hook and he's camping me, nobody's fixing gens, well then you're playing to his advantage, because not everybody understands it, but face
Mm-mm.
camping is a legitimate tactic. Yeah, it's not really a great tactic. It's not honorable. People know you're scummy for it, but it's still a tactic. It gets you a kill, gets you 2 kills. You can still do it.
right.
It's not really fun for anybody. It's not fun for me if I were to sit there and stare at somebody because the whole time they're fixing generators and then they get to the exit gate, you know?
Right. So,
So, it's not bad though. Like you said, it's kind of growing on me because now I'm posting Dead by Daylight videos. You're
right.
doing more streams of it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I
it's
am.
starting to grow on us because it is fun, even though it has its problems. Just like Friday, we can look past it. Like the Jason kill glitches, like how often does that happen? Boy, it happens more often than not, right?
Right.
More
Yeah, it
often
does.
you'll be glitched up trying to kill Jason than it actually working. So when it works, man, right? You know, call the weather control people, because it's probably going to start raining, cats and dogs, because you got it. Because most of the time, what happens is it glitches, or they don't get to swing, or too many people swing, But like also like Dead by Daylight, it has its problems, but it's still a very good game. At the end of the day, it's very fun, like because there's
Re-
videos I post where I'll play with randoms and all four of us will escape because we're working together and I have no clue who these people are and I know they don't know me.
right.
I don't
Yeah.
know them, they don't know me, but they will still save me, get me off the hook, heal me. I'll get them off the hook, and I usually have borrowed time, so like just in case I'm that good of a person, I make sure you don't go down as soon as you go off the hook because I do it sometimes too. Even if I'm like, oh man, I think they're going back to that hook, or I'll check the hook and you'll try to read down the person. And it even happens to you. You'll try to read down the person that just got off the hook because in your mind, in the killer's mind, everybody knows. What would you rather go for, Lewis? The person who's been hooked once or the person who hasn't been hooked at all?
The person has been hooked once.
Exactly, because they're just going to die quicker. And
Right.
every time they unhook them, they're killing their friend quicker, trying to save them. Now it's like, so you got to really know. That's why, you got to know what you're doing, and the more you play, the more you know. You can tell, like, is the killer got insidious and I can't hear his terror radius, right?
Right.
Or is he actually like not camping? Like, because you could sit there and oh my God, he's killing somebody else on the other side of the map. He just hit him from full health, and now they're limping, running. Okay, now I can go for a hook save, you know, and that helps because then you just can run away, heal, work on gens, and. But then
Right.
there's people who don't understand. But then also people who are cheesy, stand there, and some people try to save you, get you off the hook, and you'll get downed again, and like you'll get thrown on the hook, and that's what I feel bad for you, Lewis. It's not like you're bad. It's just that, and I say it every time we play. You're not bad at Friday. You're not bad at Dead by Daylight. You're
It's just
unfortunate, and you're not lucky.
Yep.
And
Yep. The
that's
killer's
very
always after me.
unfortunate that you're unlucky. Because, like you say, why the bunny got to die first, right? The happy bunny got to go first, That's like,
right.
You got to go first. They see you as a threat.
Yeah.
No,
So,
but you're just unlucky because they come across you first. And, you're a Debbie. So, you're not the best at running. You try to run to a cabin, you're out of breath, you're like, darn. And if they shift to you, it is what it is. You can try to hit them with the melee weapon if you got it. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't work, Most
right.
of the time
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's weird because what Jason's grab, it's like his grab is further than what you can hit with. So he'll always grab you before you can hit him. And that's like the case, it seems like. Doesn't matter, like even now with dedicated servers, there's not that much lag. But Jason can always grab you before you can hit him with the bat from the front.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Always. Like, it happens to you. I do it to people,
Yeah.
It's only like when you can get to the side of Jason, you can do it because, he can't turn anymore. But, like Dead by Daylight, killers got their strengths like Jason's. The more you play, the more you know. Like, I thought my first game I played Trapper, I thought he was going to be bad. I think I got all 4 people or 3, I got 3 or all 4, I'm not sure. But I got a lot of them. I was like, wow, this Trapper is not bad. But I knew what I was kind of doing because this Survivor I was playing. And the very few times I did come across the Trapper, I would like be getting chased and I would go through a window and guess what would be on the other side of that window when I would vault?
A trap.
A trap, exactly, So, me being a survivor, I'm like, oh, he got me, man. High five, dude. Fucking high five on his part. Good job. Because he was smart. So that's what I was doing. I was putting, like, you want to put traps down where you think it's going to be frequented, A vault by the killer shack, which
Right.
we all go by the killer shack and we do the vault through the window. Sometimes there's a trap there when it's Trapper. But that's something like like with Jason, what do you know they're gonna go for as Jason? Phone box.
Right. Phone
cars,
box, cars.
Boat.
Yeah. And
boat.
An actual good Jason always watches out for his cabin too.
There you go. There's another one. I wasn't gonna say it. I wanted you to say it. You did pick up one. Good.
I think we need to hear from DJ a little bit. He ain't said
you
nothing.
there, DJ?
I think DJ might have fell asleep on us. But anyway, we've talked about DVD. We have let's talk briefly about some of the games that are coming out here in the near future. You said you wanted to want pre-order. I'm got WWE 2K19 pre-order. Big wrestling fan, and it looks pretty promising. I was actually talking with Bestie's man. You heard me shout him out several times. Psychopath Jason Killer. I was actually talking to him in my stream earlier today about WWE 2K19, and we're kind of excited for what WWE 2K19 has to offer. I think 2K's putting a big effort into it, and I'm hoping that it's a actual game that can actually have a lot of play value for the next year, instead not just a couple weeks and then die off. I mean, I know he's constantly playing the game because he's constantly doing matches and stuff like that, but I'm pretty hopeful for it. I think hopefully it is a little bit better than it was last year. But then we got Black Ops 4 coming out, which once again another first-person game. Bestie, you said I'm playing it. My son has he has pre-ordered the game, so it's coming, and that comes out October 12th. They've had the pre-order betas out, stuff like that, which I haven't played anything, but I'm just basically gonna take it and probably get killed a million times.
Listen, that's the learning process with most first-person shooters.
Yeah.
You're gonna die way more than you're gonna kill, but some people get better than others. And I think it's insane that people who are on the MLG teams and stuff. I'm like, if you put all that much time, that's great that you do that and you can be that good at the game.
Right.
And not for me, because I'm not a first-person shooter kind of person in that way, but some of these people get good, but where do you think they all started out from,
Right.
They died a lot, and then they started to get the mechanics of the game, because, when we're watching these people, when they're playing Rainbow Six Siege for the Pro League, especially Rainbow Six Siege, oh my god, the people in Pro League think of some pretty creative ways, in some of those Pro Leagues over the past years and things, they've thought of pretty creative ways to get kills and strategies, and it's the same thing for Call of Duty. Some of these people, through time, they come up with ideas and they know how the game works,
Right.
I remember for Black Ops 2, you could sit there and you could do the quick scoping on even Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and now even Black Ops 3, you can do the quick scoping on Nuketown. But if you know the map, which is a fairly small and simple map, if you are good at quick scoping, you can have a battle with your friend or whoever, because, also too, because I know from experience from playing Black Ops 2, if you can rememberize the spawns and where the enemy's going to spawn after you kill them, that's half the battle there too. Because if you kill your friend on that side of the map, and he's going to spawn at this exact location on that side of the map, then you can run right to him, and he knows, okay, you were on that side of the map, but he doesn't know where you're coming from, but you know where he's coming from, roughly. So, the more you play, the more you know.
Right,
exactly.
So,
that's the great thing about games. You can, at your own pace, some of these games and play them very nice and slow.
Right.
But it'll be all right. First person's not used to it. I feel like that's going to be your biggest problem, Lewis. But once you get more accustomed with the first person, I think you'll be more comfortable, because you got to remember the maps. And the mechanics and everything,
Yeah, it'll be a work in progress.
When you play all these games like you do and like we do, right? When we're over here playing Prominence Poker, right? Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight. You're playing Mafia. You're playing Grand Theft Auto, right? You got all these controls for these games memorized in your head, so
Well,
being able to get back into it and just being able to remember that is just good enough as it is. So,
right.
Because I know now I have the Dead by Daylight controls memorized, but the first time I played it, I was criticizing them. I'm like, running with L1? What? Right, Lewis?
Yeah.
It's just me. Running with L1 felt really weird. Even now, it still feels weird, but I'm more comfortable with it, because I'm like, that just is what it is. So now, I just sit there and I'm running and I'm crouching, and it doesn't even faze me just thinking about the controls. Before, I'd have to sit there and be like, L2 to crouch, because I'd be hitting circle like a goofball, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, we're going to wrap things up here in just a moment, but I want to talk about just a couple other games coming out. I just basically want to know how excited, Bestie, Kush, how excited are you for The Last of Us 2? Now, I love...
Me, I'm excited.
I have loved The Last of Us.
I'm doing a playthrough streaming on my channel
when it
for
comes
anybody
out.
watching this. Yeah, because my whole reasoning behind that was I wanted to do the first one on my channel, so when the second one comes out, if I do decide, I have the first one up on my channel and my experiences, because I enjoy The Last of Us. I do. I'm not a multiplayer fan of The Last of Us. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not a multiplayer kind of guy for something like that. I feel like it's a great single player. Okay, multiplayer could be better, some things, but really good really good story, you know, like I'm pretty sure, like I'm no not to spoil anything, but the game came out in, what was it, 2013, so if you haven't played it in 5 years, I'm sorry if I ruined this, but you know, the whole beginning where, you know, his daughter Sarah dies, that's what drew me in instantly on the first game. I'm like, we're like about an hour or so in, and the man's daughter's dead already. That weighed in on my heart real
Yeah.
heavy, you know, 5 years ago,
Right.
being
Exactly.
younger,
I
you
mean, the
know,
whole.
and I'm pretty sure you as a father, Lewis, like watching that probably hit you right in the heart, right? You were probably
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
my God, if
Exactly.
that was my child, you know, that
Yeah.
killed us, you know, any parent out there, and even people like me and Star who aren't parents, you know, it still hits you at home. You're like, wow, so the game was, it was really good, so I'm really got my fingers crossed for the second one. Like, I don't know about you, Star. You know, let's hear what you got to say. But I'm really excited for it. I really like the first game. Great story, good mechanics. I can't wait because now that Ellie's going to be older, and it seems like we're going to play her now and less of Joel because she seems like a grown woman now. You know, she seems like a tough grown woman too. Ain't no like little girl. You know, she seems like a hardened woman. And I was thinking, you know, kind of reminded me of Tess the way she looked, like playing on like, man, you know, like with the sleeveless. I think that was her, right, in the trailer. It's been like a while since I've seen it, but she was the one with like the red shirt and sleeveless in the trailer, but she had like the ponytail, and that made me think of Tess when I was playing through the first part. I thought of the trailer for the second. I was like, she kind of reminds me of Tess, like a rugged, rough woman, you know, like you think, oh, since she's a girl, you know, but I'm like really excited because I'm like, she seems like, you know, this is going to be more
Right.
hands-on Ellie and her experience. Like, you're going to be playing her take in her life now, you know, because, you know, you were playing Joel in the first one, and how is he dealing with the 20 years since his daughter, and now Ellie's 14, which his daughter was when she passed away. And it kind of reminds him of his daughter, but now that they have that bond, it's like now we're playing Ellie and we're going to go through her experiences.
Right. Exactly. So
I'm like standing up in my seat like, ooh, what's going to happen? But what do you got to say, Star, about it? You excited?
Pretty much, you said everything I was gonna say. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, the whole Last of Us story, the first one, was actually, you know, well told. I mean, you can't get any better than that. And like I
Good
said,
story writing.
right. And Bestie, you were the one that said you need to play Last of Us. You need to play Last of Us, Bestie. You need to play it. No, no. Well, then I got it, and I'm glad you told me to, and I'm glad I did because it was really good.
Right. One of the times you were like, I'm glad I listened to my friend, right? And we're your friends. We're not going to steer you wrong, but I know what you were thinking. I don't
Well, you
think it's
know,
going to be my kind of game,
a
right?
lot of people, a lot of people tell me they're like, why would you drink from the flipping commode, or why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's like I know you can't say no to her, but I wouldn't do that.
The Last of Us, yeah.
But yeah, like
Well,
I
see,
said, The
that's
Last
a
of
great
Us, you
thing
know,
when it's
that's
your YouTube channel, right? You can play and post what you want.
right, exactly.
Because I'm doing The Last of Us. I'm doing South Park. I would like to do the Batman series.
Right.
Spider-Man, because I own that. It's a very good game, by the way, people. Not to give anything away, but, you know, $60, not a bad price, what I think, for the game. I'm not giving it a review, but it's not bad. It's not.
Right,
It's a good
exactly.
game.
So,
All right.
any final thoughts, Bestie? What do you got to say about the your thoughts on Dead by Daylight Killers? Your thoughts on Black Ops 4?
I want to talk about Tomb Raider, actually, since we're here. You know,
Yeah.
she's playing that on her other channel, Bestie channel.
oh,
You know,
God, Kush.
Anyway,
she's playing that Tomb Raider, and it looks like it's actually quite enjoyable.
right, exactly. So, do we have any final thoughts? Any final thoughts going in?
No.
No? I think we'll wrap things up here. There you have it. We have a little bit of discussion on exactly what. Kush, I want to thank you. Bestie, always a pleasure. And DJ, who went AFK on us. Not sure what happened to DJ. But for the most part, this has been the Howling Mood Podcast, episode number 4. We're talking about the games that are coming out, the Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. I really think that going forward, these games that are coming out in the Dead by Daylight series is really going to be something to be happy, as a gamer, as a lover of the horror genre and the suspense and everything. I think the actual game is going to get better. Me as a person who doesn't like that first person is going to get better as the killer, and everybody else who has any,
or at least try.
At least try to, yeah. So thank you, Bestie, as always. Kush, a pleasure, and like I said, for DJ. So this has been the Wolfman Lewis. Thanks for watching, and we are out.